In Buddhist teachings, the connection between body and mind is fundamental to understanding our health and well-being. What we consume, not just in terms of food but also in thoughts and actions, can greatly influence our mental and physical states. The teachings of the Buddha emphasize mindfulness and balance, guiding us to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. This balance extends to our diet, which plays a crucial role in cultivating clarity, peace, and wisdom. In the fast-paced world we live in today, it's easy to overlook how our eating habits can impact our state of mind. Often, we focus solely on the physical effects of food without considering how it affects our emotions and mental clarity. The Buddha's teachings offer a deeper insight into this relationship, urging us to be mindful of what we consume and how it nourishes both our body and mind. Foods that are heavy, overly processed, or consumed in excess can cloud our judgment, increase agitation, and disrupt our peace of mind. These foods can create an imbalance that prevents us from achieving the mental clarity and peace we seek on our spiritual journey. Buddhism teaches us the importance of cultivating a diet that supports both physical health and mental serenity. By consuming foods that are light, nourishing, and free from excess, we can enhance our ability to meditate, focus, and live in harmony with the present moment. Foods that promote mindfulness and peace include those that are simple, fresh, and wholesome, such as fruits, vegetables, grains, and plant-based foods. These foods not only provide the necessary nutrients for the body but also foster a calm and clear mind, aiding in the practice of meditation and mindfulness. On the other hand, certain foods can disturb this balance and hinder our spiritual practice. Highly processed foods, sugary snacks, and excessive amounts of caffeine or alcohol can lead to restlessness, irritability, and mental fog. These foods create disturbances in the body's energy, making it more difficult to stay focused or calm during meditation or everyday activities. In Buddhism, the emphasis is not on deprivation but on mindful consumption. It is about choosing foods that promote mental clarity, compassion, and awareness, foods that support our journey toward enlightenment. By following the Buddha's teachings and cultivating a mindful approach to food, we can achieve a harmonious relationship between our body and mind. This not only enhances our health but also brings us closer to the peace and wisdom we seek in our spiritual practice. As we become more aware of the foods we consume, we can better understand how they affect our mental and emotional states, and make choices that align with our path toward enlightenment. The Buddha's teachings remind us that every aspect of our lives, including our diet, plays a role in our pursuit of a peaceful mind and a healthy body. Let's begin with sugar, a substance that many of us crave. Its sweetness is tempting, and it provides a momentary sense of comfort, but in the teachings of Buddhism, sugar can serve as a metaphor for the attachments that bind us to transient pleasures. In our modern world, sugar is abundant and accessible, often found in almost every corner of our lives, from desserts to drinks, and it's easy to become dependent on it for a quick source of happiness. However, just like all worldly pleasures, sugar offers only temporary satisfaction. The Buddha's teachings guide us to understand that such attachments, whether to food, possessions, or experiences, lead to suffering because they are impermanent. Sugar may offer an immediate boost in energy, giving us a short-lived sense of pleasure or comfort, but this pleasure is fleeting. After the initial rush, we experience a rapid decline, feeling drained, irritable, or anxious. This crash in energy levels is a clear reflection of the impermanence of sugar's effects, and it mirrors the way attachments can lead to cycles of satisfaction and dissatisfaction in our lives. According to the Buddha, our craving for these temporary joys is a root cause of suffering, as we find ourselves continually chasing after something that will never last. This craving is known as tanha, or the thirst for sensory pleasure, which disturbs our mental peace and clarity. From a Buddhist perspective, it's not the substance itself that causes harm, but rather our attachment to it. When we form a habit of relying on sugar to lift our spirits, we are not only feeding our bodies, but also feeding our craving for immediate gratification. This craving can cloud our judgment, leaving us dependent on something that ultimately cannot sustain us. The Buddha's path encourages us to seek a deeper sense of peace that comes from non-attachment and mindful living, rather than from indulging in fleeting pleasures. Instead of relying on sugar to fulfill our desires, we can nourish ourselves with natural sweetness that not only supports our physical well-being but also contributes to our mental clarity. Fruits, for example, provide a more stable source of energy, gently sustaining the body without the dramatic spikes and crashes associated with refined sugar. Fruits like apples, pears, and berries are naturally sweet and rich in nutrients, promoting both physical health and mental clarity. In Buddhist teachings, the emphasis is on moderation and mindful consumption, recognizing that it's not about completely denying ourselves, but about choosing what nourishes us in a way that supports our well-being. When we embrace the practice of mindfulness in all aspects of our lives, including our diet, we learn to choose foods that help us cultivate mental clarity, peace, and balance. Instead of seeking fleeting pleasures that can cause harm in the long run, we can appreciate the simple, wholesome nourishment that brings us sustained energy and mental calm. Just as we are taught to detach from attachments and cravings in other areas of life, we can apply this wisdom to our eating habits, choosing foods that align with our journey toward enlightenment and inner peace. By doing so, we not only enhance our physical health but also bring greater awareness and mindfulness into every aspect of our lives. Now, let us reflect on the impact of processed foods, which have become an unfortunate staple in many of our diets. These foods are often filled with artificial additives, unhealthy fats, excessive amounts of salt, and a host of other ingredients that do little to nourish the body. However, the problem with processed foods extends beyond just their unhealthy contents, it lies in how we consume them. In our fast-paced, modern lives, it's common to eat these foods quickly, often mindlessly, while distracted or on the go. We might eat while watching television, working, or even while driving, without truly paying attention to the act of eating itself. From a Buddhist perspective, mindfulness is essential in all aspects of life, including eating. Mindfulness, or sati, is the practice of being fully present and aware in each moment, without distraction or haste. When we eat mindlessly, we disconnect from the present moment. We lose the opportunity to be aware of the nourishment we are receiving, and this detachment from the present leads to stress, imbalance, and even indigestion. In Buddhist teachings, it is through mindfulness that we cultivate clarity, peace, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Eating without mindfulness means that we are not fully present with the food that sustains us, and this can lead to a disconnection from our own well-being. When we consume processed foods, we often do so without thought, which only reinforces this disconnect. The act of eating becomes a mechanical task, done out of habit or convenience, rather than a conscious act of nourishment. This mindless eating prevents us from appreciating the food we consume, which is an essential part of the Buddhist path of mindful living. The Buddha taught that it is not just the food itself that nourishes us, but our attitude towards it and the awareness we bring to the process of eating. When we eat in a hurry or while distracted, we fail to fully appreciate the nourishment, both physical and spiritual, that food can offer us. In Buddhism, we are encouraged to practice mindfulness in every activity, and eating is no exception. By choosing whole, unprocessed foods, we are making a conscious decision to nourish our bodies in a way that aligns with the principles of mindfulness. Whole foods are naturally rich in nutrients, providing us with the energy and sustenance needed for both physical health and mental clarity. Furthermore, when we eat whole foods, we are more likely to slow down, to savor each bite, and to be aware of how the food makes us feel. This is an opportunity to reconnect with our bodies, to express gratitude for the nourishment we receive, and to cultivate awareness of the present moment. Mindful eating is a practice that can bring us back to the present, fostering peace not only in our bodies but also in our minds. It is through awareness that we can transform the act of eating from a mundane task into a meaningful ritual. By slowing down and appreciating the food we consume, we invite mindfulness into our lives, allowing us to experience the full benefits of the nourishment we receive. This practice of mindful eating not only contributes to better digestion and physical health but also helps us cultivate a calm and balanced mind. In the Buddhist tradition, eating is seen as an opportunity to practice mindfulness, a way to reconnect with the present moment, and a means to express gratitude for the gifts of the earth. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods aligns with the Buddhist teachings of simplicity, moderation, and mindfulness. When we eat with awareness, we are not only nourishing our bodies but also nurturing our mental and spiritual well-being. By embracing mindfulness in our eating habits, we take a significant step toward achieving balance, peace, and clarity in our lives. Caffeine is something many of us turn to in our daily lives, often as a crutch to jumpstart our mornings or to push through sluggish afternoons. We rely on that quick cup of coffee, or perhaps an energy drink, to provide a surge of energy that we feel we need to tackle the day. However, when we look deeper into the true nature of caffeine, we start to see how it aligns with certain teachings in Buddhism. Caffeine creates an illusion of energy. It's a temporary boost, an artificial stimulation of the mind and body, making us believe that we are more alert and energized than we truly are. Yet, this boost is fleeting. The effects quickly dissipate, leaving us once again searching for that next cup or drink to feel awake and engaged. This constant cycle can create a reliance on external sources for energy, which can ultimately lead to negative effects on both our body and mind. Too much caffeine can bring about restlessness, anxiety, and a sense of jitteriness that disrupts the natural calm of our being. In the teachings of Buddhism, we are reminded about the importance of non-attachment and cultivating a balance in our lives. The desire for that constant rush of energy from caffeine can be seen as a form of attachment, a craving for something external to maintain our inner equilibrium. Buddhist practices encourage us to detach from these cravings and to instead cultivate a state of mindfulness and presence. This process involves finding balance and contentment in the present moment, without relying on external substances to stimulate us. By reducing our dependence on caffeine, we allow our bodies and minds to return to their natural rhythm. We can rediscover a sense of balance, where our energy flows harmoniously without the need for artificial boosts. By cultivating mindfulness and awareness, we can remain calm, focused, and centered throughout the day, not relying on quick fixes but instead developing a steady, peaceful state of being. This is the essence of the Buddhist approach: living with awareness, reducing attachment, and finding true inner peace and balance, rather than chasing fleeting moments of artificial energy. In Buddhism, food is not merely seen as a physical necessity to sustain the body, it is regarded as a sacred act, an offering that connects us to the world around us, to our own bodies, and to the present moment. The act of eating goes far beyond the act of simply filling our stomachs. It is an opportunity for mindfulness, intention, and gratitude. The Buddha emphasized the importance of consuming food with mindfulness, understanding that each bite is an opportunity to practice presence and reflect on our relationship with nourishment. Every meal, no matter how simple or elaborate, carries the potential to cultivate a deeper connection with the world and ourselves. In the teachings of Buddhism, food is not consumed casually or without thought. Each bite is seen as an act of respect, not just for the food itself, but for the environment and the countless beings involved in bringing that food to our table. Whether it is the farmers, the earth, or the energy of the sun that nurtures the crops, the process of eating becomes an act of honoring all of these elements. By eating with full awareness, we transform the act of nourishment into an opportunity to express gratitude for the many factors that have contributed to our meal. The Buddha taught that eating should not be hurried or distracted. When we rush through meals, we miss the opportunity to truly savor the experience and appreciate the nourishment being offered. Instead, he encouraged us to eat slowly, with mindful awareness, allowing ourselves to be fully present with the food, the flavors, and the sensations that arise as we eat. This practice of mindfulness in eating helps to cultivate a deeper respect for our bodies. By paying attention to how food nourishes and sustains us, we are reminded of the sacredness of the body and the importance of treating it with care and reverence. Additionally, mindful eating is a practice that fosters inner peace. By focusing on the act of eating and the experience of the meal, we learn to let go of distractions, judgments, and cravings. This quieting of the mind allows us to experience peace and stillness in the midst of everyday life. Each meal becomes an opportunity to practice the Buddhist teachings of moderation, gratitude, and awareness. Through mindfulness in eating, we nourish both our bodies and our minds. By slowing down and truly being present with each bite, we are able to foster a deeper sense of well-being, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually as well. Thus, eating becomes a practice of compassion not just for ourselves, but for all life, as we recognize the interconnectedness of all things. Through mindful eating, we align ourselves with the path of balance and harmony, allowing both our bodies and minds to thrive in the sacredness of the present moment. To conclude, it is essential to understand that the food we consume goes beyond simply nourishing our bodies. It is intricately connected to the state of our minds and our spiritual well-being. In Buddhism, the act of eating is not just about physical sustenance, but a practice that reflects our intentions, mindfulness, and respect for the interconnectedness of all life. The choices we make regarding our food can either contribute to our balance or disrupt it. By avoiding overly processed foods, excessive sugar, and too much caffeine, we can help restore harmony within our bodies and minds. These substances often create disturbances, leading to imbalances in both physical and mental health. For example, consuming too much sugar or processed foods may lead to a sense of restlessness or irritability, while excessive caffeine can cause anxiety and disrupt our ability to find peace in the present moment. Buddhist teachings emphasize moderation, mindfulness, and the importance of cultivating a calm and peaceful mind. When we make conscious, mindful choices in what we eat, we are aligning ourselves with these principles. By choosing foods that are nourishing, both for our body and mind, we create the conditions for inner peace and clarity. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us that true peace arises when we realize the perfection that already exists in our lives and in the world around us. As he once said, when you realize how perfect everything is, you will tilt your head back and laugh at the sky. This realization comes when we release the need for excess or attachment and learn to embrace the present moment as it is. Embarking on this journey of health and balance through mindful eating is not just about following a diet or a set of rules. It is about cultivating a deeper awareness of our actions and their effects on our well-being. It is a path of self-care, where every choice reflects our desire to live in harmony with our bodies, our minds, and the world around us. By eating with mindfulness, we give ourselves the gift of peace and the opportunity to nurture both body and spirit. May this practice help you find greater balance and tranquility in your life. As we reflect on the wisdom of the Buddha, we can begin to see that every moment is an opportunity to make mindful decisions that lead us towards a more peaceful and harmonious existence. Thank you for watching. I hope these insights inspire you to take the first steps toward a more mindful, balanced life. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to continue this journey of mindfulness together.